Hello, everyone. It's your boy KP, and today we are back again with another episode of Unrise Interview with the Vampire. We are finally here, guys. It's episode 3, and this episode was just power packed. And as you guys can see, this episode brought up, and this episode also answered some of the questions that I put out there last week about Armand's and Louis' relationship. So, this episode starts and makes us understand the background of Armand and Lestat's relationship. Now, everything is very clear to me. I don't know about you guys, but everything right now looks very clear. Armand is that ex that never got over their partner, right? Right now, looking at the dynamic right now, this is how I see it. Armand fell in love with Lestat. Lestat abandoned Armand. And then Lestat went to go date Louis. And then Louis finds out that and then Armand finds out that the guy that I was in love with was able to go love someone else, had another relationship with someone else. And because of that, what does Armand do? He gets closer to Louis. So it's like he never really got over Lestat. So this is how I see it, right? Armand dates Lestat. That's the dynamic. Armand dates Lestat. Lestat dumps Armand. Armand never gets over it. Let's just go to date Louis. And then Armand finds out that Lestat, this is my ex's ex. So you see how the whole thing is. Armand goes to date his ex's ex. And then to me, if I'm looking at it, he's looking for traces of Lestat in Louis. So it's like each one of them is just a placeholder for the other. Louis is using Armand as a placeholder for Lestat because he can see traces of Lestat in Armand. Armand too is there where he can also see traces of Lestat in Louis. And like one example is when the whole team was the whole Coven thing started, right? How they were like, oh, Louis is supposed to come and join the Coven. You see, at that point, at the part where they were going for that work, if you could see very clearly, Louis was like, I don't want to be part of this coven. I don't want to be part of any coven. I like to be by myself. And that was exactly the same thing that was also going down between Lestat and Armand about 200 years ago. It was also very clear because Lestat was like, I don't do covens. I'm not going to live that kind of lifestyle. So it's like that rebellious thing of not being part, I think it's kind of Armand's thing where it's like it keeps him attracted to people. And then Louis was also exhibiting those kind of behaviors. And then guess what? This guy also falls in love with that. So it's like Armand is looking for traces of Lestat. Armand can see traces of Lestat in Louis. And Louis too can see traces of Lestat in Armand. And then it makes the whole relationship really messed up because right now we can see very clearly that everything is just a trauma bond. Everything is just a trauma bond there. And then the person that is right in the middle of it is who? Lestat. Lestat is the person that is right in the middle of it. Both people have gone through a lot. Both people have suffered in the hands of Lestat. And then both of them have not really healed. Right? They've all not really healed. And so they are all just there reliving their trauma. And I really can't wait for the more episodes to come because right now it's just very clear. Right? Lestat is Louis is not over Lestat. Armand is not over Lestat. And then they are both just reliving their trauma and trying to find their trauma in each other. And at the same time, too, I also think that because of what Lestat did to Armand, that is why Armand is also very controlling when it also comes to Louis. That's why last week's video that I posted, remember I was saying Armand was acting like very insecure and being a little bit controlling, and he was acting like he was on a race with Lestat. And then now it's also very clear. You can also see it because he goes to take the prized possession of his ex, right? And then so it's like it's so very clear. He knows Lestat fell in love with Louis. So what do? I'm also gonna fall in love with my ex's ex. And then to prove to himself that he was the one that won, he's going to make sure that he makes Louis fall in love with him. And then it's also so clear. And then it's also very clear that Louis is not in love with Armand. And then now all the answers have been answered, right? Armand knows Louis is not 100% in with him. To me, I feel like Armand is with Louis because he's trying to let Lestat pay for what he has done to him. And then we could all see, now all the signs are there. We can see how much he goes back and forth trying to prove that he has won. So it's like a competition game. Someone who got dumped, who got hurt, and they never actually let it go. So now they've kind of like gone and made it their point to prove to the other person that they won. And then everything has become so clear right now. And it's just also kind of very sad at the same time. Because that's why Armand is looking so controlling. And every time he keeps on bringing Lestat. And it's so clear. And I know down the line, the more episodes to come, I know they are probably going to start having a problem with the whole idea of Lestat. Because yes, it started off with Lestat, but it's going to be they're going to get to a point where Lestat is actually going to start being a problem because Armand is going to want Louis to treat him the way that he treated Lestat. That kind of passion, that kind of like energy, he might be wanting it from Louis, and I don't think Louis is going to give that to him. So their whole relationship dynamic right now is just so messed up. It's really messed up. Well, like, what do you guys really think about it? Because for me personally, it's really messed up. Number one, it's a trauma bond. They're all just there because they've not healed from their past pain, and then they are all together because of a trauma bond, especially Armand and Louis. Number two, because of the way Lestat dumped Armand, and then the way Lestat used Armand, because it's also very clear because from my perspective, looking at what the kind of relationship that Lestat had with Louis, and then looking at the kind of relationship that Lestat had with Armand, it is very clear that Lestat was using Armand because he met someone that had more knowledge about vampire, their abilities and everything. So what does he do? He seduces him, gets close to him, learn everything that he wants to learn. And then what does he do? He bounces. He bounces. And I don't know where that insecurity is from when it comes to Armand, because Lestat did the same thing to him, where it's like Lestat was using him. And now he's doing the same thing when it comes to Louis, where he knows that Louis really doesn't love him and Louis is using him. But what does he do? He still stays around and then he's still trying to be like, oh, I won, right? So Lestat used Armand. He was never really in love with Armand. He was using him because Armand has something that he needed. For me, I feel like Louis is the one that Lestat was actually in love with. So what happens? He never lets go, and then he goes, and then to get a payback for what Lestat did to him. Now it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to my ex's ex and then try to go date my ex's ex. That is so toxic. And honestly, for me, I feel like they all need therapy at this point. They all really need therapy because everything is just a trauma bond. There's a lot of healing that I feel needs to be happening right now with them, right? And it's showing a lot of Armand's insecurity. I don't know why. Now, I actually also kind of feel bad for Armand, right? Because he's always surrounded by people that are just kind of using him, but he's not seeing it. I don't know if he's not seeing it or what, because like Lestat comes into his life, seduces him, makes him fall in love with him, dumps him in the most cruel way. He never hears from Lestat again, and then Lestat goes. Now, he meets his ex's ex, who is still not healed from that ex. What does he do? He goes and then he goes to fall in love with that person. He goes and falls in love with the ex's ex. And then now what? Louis is also using him as a placeholder. So it makes the whole thing really messed up at this point, because it's like, can you guys just give each other a break? Can you guys just give each other a break and then just allow each other to go? Because right now it's just messed up. And then also to come to Claudia, to now hearing what they are saying, that Claudia is going to die. And that because Louis sired her at a young age, she's going to die. Right now, I don't really understand what that means. I hope maybe you guys can answer that for me. Are they saying that because Claudia is young, because Claudia is a baby, Claudia was sired at a young age, 14 years old, her brains is gonna outgrow her body to the point of she's going to die. Like I'm really trying to understand the dynamic that they were trying to say about that one. That is Claudia going to outgrow her brains, right? Is she going to outgrow her body, or because there's some kind of like physical or biological thing where it's like as a vampires count when they are sired at a young age, they have like a time limit on them. So you guys should let me know what that really means when it comes to the whole Claudia situation. And this is also something that I'm throwing out to you guys. I'm throwing it out there. Let's look at this whole three-way relationship, right? Who do you guys really think Lestat was in love with? For me, I've already said it initially that Lestat is madly in love with Louis. The passion and the energy is there. But when it comes to Armand, for me, I don't see it. You guys should let me know. What do you guys think about the whole dynamic? Do you think Lestat was using Armand? So this is one question that I'm throwing it out there. Do you really think Lestat was using Armand because Armand had knowledge of vampire abilities? That's why Lestat stayed with Armand. That is the first thing. Number two, do you guys also think that Armand is with Louis to get a payback at Lestat? Do you guys really think that is what is happening? Right? And number three, Armand's behavior, like from his insecurities and from the way that he's behaving and how everything is going, right? Do you guys really think, because now for me, I'm even beginning to doubt if Armand actually loved Louis. Do you guys actually also believe Armand really loved Louis, or he's with Louis to get traces of Lestat? Right? Especially the last part, I really want us to delve deep inside that one. Do you guys really think, from what we've seen in episode 3, from what we've seen in episode 3, do you guys really think that Armand is actually in love with Louis now? Or do you guys think that Armand is with Louis because he's trying to get traces of Louis, of Lestat from Louis? Right. Last week, I thought that Louis was using Armand and Armand was a rebound. But now I feel like all of them are rebounds to each other. And then all of them are trying to find traces of their 1X in each other. So they are, all of them. Louis is rebound for Armand. Armand is rebound for Louis. Right? So it's like they're all trying to find their X in each other. So I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, what do you guys really think, especially some of the questions that we broke down over here. For me, I have my own perception. I have my own idea about stuff. I personally think right now, the whole relationship is a trauma bond. Right now, everything that is going on between all of them is a trauma bond. And we all know what happened in trauma bond relationship is just going to get messier, 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 and messier. So we've come to the end of this episode. We've come to the end of this video. I am your boy KP. I can't wait to bring you guys episode 4 of Anne-Rice's interview with the vampire. Kindly share, subscribe, and comment down in the video. And I hope to see you guys next week for episode 5. To see you guys on episode 4. Peace out.